Hello, welcome back to my channel. Currently I'm charging and doing an hyperlapse of a tutorial I'm working on as well. So if you can hear the the humming, I apologise, it's the fan that's using the charger. I'll put the link in the bottom if you want to go and watch that tutorial on how to set this up and get this going with these batteries that I use for these RC cars, because I'm new to it, so everything's a learning curve, and I thought document it all as we get along. So anyway, I'm digressing. So this video is about the 16208. It's had a good bashing last time I was out, and it's broke the top, various other bits, but as you can see, it's very sluggish on the rear, pardon the expression. So I'm going to give it a good clean. Get your coffee, I think this is going to be a good one, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, welcome back. So we're about halfway, I think, with the charging, but anyway, I've given it a good clean. It seems to be a bit more springy on the back, so we're going to harden the springs up on the back a bit. And that's just literally just tighten the springs up on the back. There we go. Okay, while I'm messing around with these springs, it's not working, so I do replace them. So I thought I'd show you where I actually did this. So I'm chasing up here after the RC car with the Avata, and we do the jump, perfect jump. We're both really happy with it, and then that's when the problem started with the shocks. So that's what brought it to this. So let's move on to the next bit, and I'll show you what I do with the replacement. Okay, so I've done one side, as you can see, that's screwed in there and there. I have noticed something on one of the wheels, I can't remember which one it was now. That one. I don't know if you can see it there. There's a bit of metal, which is the actual support. So when we replace this one, we're going to do that. So the good thing about these is these parts actually come with the remote control car. And these are what I'm replacing it with. I'm no fancy screwdrivers. Would like an electric screwdriver, but nothing fancy. And you can already see on that side, it's sat up a little bit, so really happy with that. It's just a little bit fiddly, getting out the screw on the bottom. Quite straightforward. Literally just 2 screws holding the strut. I think, if I'm honest, it's just dirt, but I'm going to upgrade them anyway because this car is out of battery. So, and that's literally that, just 2 screws, which are them 2 there. There's one, and then I'm replacing it with that. So slightly bigger, better quality. I say better quality, it just feels better. And then just slot that back in. This is where you need like 10 pairs of hands. I think that's in. That one in. Now it's important to make sure you screw onto this part here, which is the outer one, not the inner one or this one here, because that's where it's come from and they're about the same size. So just push it in. So I'm not going to push it in all the way, and you'll see that now on that one, and then just screw it in all the way. Take your time, don't thread it, because the last thing you want to do is thread one of these because you're going to replace an whole arm then. So just take your time, don't force it, and I think that's partly why I don't like the idea of using, sorry, that's me pocket. That's my Pocket 2 that's died. I've been doing an hyperlapse on the charger. Go and watch that video. I've got a new charger for this, so just so it's better. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but the batteries aren't charging correctly with the cheap charger that I got with it. Charges okay, but the second cell was always off.
slightly, so I've invested in a better one. So I'll leave the link in the bottom. And as you can see, and already it springs back up, so I'm really happy with that. So what we need to do now is address that. So I've learned by replacing the arms, sorry, the wheels on the other car. Sit it up when you do it. I'm going to unscrew it. I don't know what I'm going to find, but I need to look at it because it's come out such. And as you can see, it's come out there. I think it might just need pushing back in. I could be wrong completely, but yeah, just need pushing back in. That's literally it. And as you can see, these little pins here are buggers. And you can see that there was a nightmare under the car. And then inside there, you've got a little bearing, plastic bearing, that has to sit in there. So when you put it in, just move it around and you'll feel it sit in there. So it's sat in there now. And put the nut back in. And then tighten it up. Don't tighten it too tight because you're just going to cause more hassle. Worse is in, you're going to cause more repairs for yourself. But just hand tight, that's tight enough. I'm happy with that. And that's it. That is repaired. I'm happy with that now. Sits up nice. So we're going to address the lid. So the lid, it got bashed pretty bad, as you can see there. And it still sits in, but I'll show you. I'll put it back in there. Still sits in. The problem is that didn't work, as you can see. So what I did is I purchased one of these off AliExpress. So we're going to swap that out. But what I did do is get a new case. So I always like deliveries. It's one thing I like about AliExpress, it's always well packaged. Now, I'll give them a dues. It can be hit and miss sometimes, bit of a nightmare what you're buying. Can be a little bit stressful getting through customs, but overall, you can't really complain. And if you like Temu, you're going to like AliExpress. So I've got myself a new top. So I like them, quite like them, nice and cushioning. So I've now got myself a new top. Let's get rid of that. I am going to reuse that and I'll show you in a second. So let's make sure that this sits in properly. Push that aside like that, and then that pushes up, and then that pushes down on there. I don't think you can see it, but it sits inside some teeth. So now we've got it back on. So it's not as good as new, but it's good enough to take it out and do a bit more bashing. Now, you know, you're wondering why I've not replaced the front shocks, because I have replaced the back ones. Now, to be honest with you, the front ones are working fine, so if it's not broke, don't fix it. I'm a great believer in that, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to keep them for next time. I might just clean them up and then keep them for spares. I ain't decided yet, but as you can see, I've still got 2 shocks, the front ones. So more spares the better, I think, with this little hobby. So happy with that. What we're going to do with that, we're going to get rid of this. So now that's good to go now. So with this, well, could do with putting it in the bin if I'm honest. Now I've got a new one, but I'm going to screw the GoPro to the roof. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so the plan of action is to take this bit off the bottom. You see where it snapped, and then we're going to replace it with this one. And that's the plan. So, and this is dead easy. Again, the same screwdriver. There's a screw down the side. You can see there. just unscrew that. Careful with the screws, because when you lose them, they're gone. And I haven't got a spare set, so there we go, that's that. It's double-sided, I think. Yeah, I think it's double-sided. So completely wrong. It's not double-sided. It's got a long head to it, bottom to it, and a small screw. So that's on the both sides. So that's quite easy to take out. Yeah, that was easy. That's out. So then we need to take the top bit off there. So that. Don't lose that screw. That's the top bit that we need. So the bit that we're replacing is that bit. You can see where that's broken. I'll show you the new one. Case within a case, I like it. Got some good quality screws inside as well. So as you can see, that's where it snapped. It actually snapped the head off. So it sits like that. So we've got a nice new one. First, we're going to put the top on. So we put that on like so. Make sure it sits inside. Put that on there. It's on the way around. I have put it on the way around, so that sits in there. It kind of sits inside each other, so if you don't get it right, it won't move correctly. I'll show you what I mean when I tighten it up. So it's tightened up. So now, as you can see, they kind of sit inside each other. Make sure it's nice and tight. I love it's the same screwdriver for everything. I love that. I'm going to use. No, I'm not. I'm going to use these new screws because the screws that I have don't fit it. So put that in from underneath. So kind of wants to sit like that. So we've got that in there like that. So it's like the old one. This one isn't broken. Right, so that sits in there like that. So now we're going to put these screws in. As you can see, we've got like little like washers, mini metal washers, so we'll put that in there. Don't know if I like that, but as long as it does the job, who cares? Yeah, it does the job. Right, put the other side on. So it's just like a hollow piece of metal. Tubing, put the screw in, and sit it in there. I don't know if you can see that. Just see. Screw it like that. You see how it sits in there like that. Then just tighten it up. It's really that easy. I'm having to use my phone as the close-up because my Pocket 2 I used on a hyperlapse. I don't know if you can hear it. I've already mentioned it. It's not dead. It's been on for an hour, but that sits perfectly now. Right, let's try that before we go any further. Back in a second. Right, got the car. Let's get the other body off. Put the other body on. It's a bit loose, but it fits perfect. Look, as you can see, fits perfect. And no movement, so we're good, we're happy with that. So the next thing is we're going to screw the GoPro to it. So put that on. Is something in the way? Fiddly. There we go, we're in. Right, so we're good. So now we need to screw the GoPro. Let's add a hammer in to the top, like so. So it's going to go like that. So we're going to lose that handle if you like, because it's going to have the GoPro screwed. It's going to be screwed to the body of the car. Like that. Remember to keep your screws, because you never know when they're going to come in handy. So we're going to put them in there. And then we're going to bin that. Right, back in a second.
Okay, so now we've got the bits I need. First we need to drill a hole in the top of this, so let's get the screwdriver bits. Start with a small bit and a slightly bigger bit. Let's get rid of that. Let's try not break anything. But we've got a small bit there. So the name of the game is really, where is it? There it is. Just kind of want it in the middle there. So plastic's tougher than I thought, so we've got a drill bit in there. And then you'll be able to see it come out the top there. Nice and easy, nothing too complicated, because last thing I want is this to be complicated. So I want to sit it back, so about there. This is the bit where I don't want to drill through my finger. So okay, so we've drilled all the way through. You can see, just see a little pilot hole through there, all the way through. So we need to get a screw that will now fit that. We're nearly charged on one of them. Just making sure this switched on because it weren't switched on earlier. So apologies. So we need a longish screw, not something too long. I think that'll do. Make sure that fits in there. Yeah, that'll fit nicely. So let's put that in there first. So I want to do this by hand so we can feel it going through. So as you can see, the screws in there, just nice. And now the pilot hole, you want to kind of get it sat over where it is, so there. And then try and hold it together. So what we're going to do is put the screw on there. It's important that you put a pilot hole in the plastic, otherwise it will just crack and it won't hold. So we're in. I don't know if you can see, but it's actually coming through the screw, but that is in. And let's turn it around. You can put these GoPros any way you want, but as you can see, that's now going to sit on there perfectly. And then I'm going to put another screw in there at the back. So I'm going to put another screw at the back there, so then that'll fit perfectly. So it's a bit sharp there, but be all right. Make sure that's in line, because the last thing you want is your footage to be slightly off. So yeah, we're kind of there. And as you can see, it's all the way through. Take your time with it, there's no rush. But we want to make sure that's nice and secure. So we want the same sort of screw again. I think I've got another one of those. I think that's slightly long. There we are, perfect. So I'm going to stick that in there. Again, use your hand screwdriver. You don't want to over torque this thing, you want it to grab the plastic so it's not going to let go. So we've tried gluing it several times. This would normally have gone in the bin now, but I want to see how this goes. That, hopefully, is Corey proof and dad proof. That's not coming off, so let's get rid of them. That's took what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Let's get rid of the screwdriver. I'll sort that out in a bit. But I'll put the GoPro on now, and I did notice, and Corey also said in one of the videos, that it was a bit front heavy. It was handling funny. So this is more central. So that's kind of how we want it. So as you can see, and it's real firm and sturdy now. So it's a bit battered. It has seen better days, but subscribe. I am going to put a bit of video at the end of how this goes with the GoPro. Fingers crossed it goes all right, but hey, who knows? Batteries are nearly charged, so we're going to go out shortly. So I'll see you out there, and if not, I'll see you on the next one.